Okay, good afternoon or good evening or good morning, wherever you're at, everybody. Welcome to Expanding Your Conference Experience, a webinar sponsored by the International Association of Emergency Managers Conference Committee. We offer this webinar to all who want to find out more about our annual conference so you get the most out of your conference experience, and we will be giving you lots of information and insight today that will hopefully help you with that. And you can also put in some questions into the Q&A, which we'll answer at the end. So my name is Dwayne Hilgans. I'm the chair of the conference committee, and today I'm happy to be joined by Tony Hauser, Chris Donegan, who are our co-vice chairs, and Julie Husk, our very happy IAEM staff conference director. So why don't you guys all say hello?
Hey, this is Tony Hauser. Happy to be here.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris Donegan. Glad to see everyone here and hope we can give you some tips.
Hello, everyone. This is Julie Husk, and welcome.
All right. So by the end of this webinar, you should have a much better idea of how the conference program is structured, how we work it out through the course of the year, as well as how to plan your time with us in Louisville. Please feel free to ask questions as we go along. If you see something, you can raise your hand. But if you put it in the chat, or not the chat, the Q&A up there at the top of your screen, we'll get to those at the very end. Hopefully, over the course of this presentation, we're going to answer all those questions, but if there's any remaining questions, we'll answer them. And then again, at the end, you'll see our contact information. You can contact us if you think of something tomorrow, next week, or next month, whatever that may be. So simply type your questions in the box. We'll do our best to answer them during the webinar. If you have questions that you need extra help with, whatever that we can't get to, we'll do our best at the end, or you can reach out to us a phone call and or an email later. Next slide, please. All right, so our agenda for today is pretty simple. Why should I go? I think hopefully by the end of this, you're going to know exactly, if you haven't signed up already, why you should come to our conference. I will tell you, speaking for myself, Chris, Tony, and Julie, we've been to Louisville a couple times in the last couple of years to prepare for this conference. The people of Kentucky and Louisville are very excited to have us. It's a great town. It's a walkable town. It's a very cost-effective town. So anyway, we'll talk about why you should go, what's happening at the conference, our MX. Some of our speakers will highlight the conference program as a whole, and then what else do you need to know for this conference? All right, why should we go? Most important thing, I tell my students this every year as we get a bunch of students to come to our conference: networking, 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 right? You have peer networking, people that maybe you only interact with, on Zoom meetings or on phone calls or whatever that you get to see live at our conference. Networking within your discipline and certainly networking outside your discipline. I've been coming to IAM for way more years than I can remember. And it's great because every year I get to meet new people. I might get to meet some of you if we've not met before. I get to meet other new people, and I just keep expanding that network that of those people that I've met through the years. And as our conference keeps growing and expanding, so does my network. So I get to know people in different disciplines around the country. People that become part of my go-tos when I have questions. I know people in all kinds of areas of emergency management. So each of you can, Julie, Tony, Julie, and Chris, maybe you guys can share a little bit of why you think networking and coming to the conference is so important.
I like to think of the conference as the emergency management family reunion. So it's, even if we don't see each other regularly or even work together directly, just being able to see people once a year, check in, make sure they're okay, it helps keep that relationship fresh. And we all know that relationships are what our profession is based on.
Yeah, and to just piggyback on that, I think the relationships are a big part. It's also not only getting to see those that you've already know, but getting to meet new people. Have met a lot of great individuals and made some great new connections. And so I would just encourage as you go to the conference, a lot of times, you go with a group, but break out of that group and meet new people because there's a lot of very talented people out there in this profession, and getting to meet them and networking is definitely a plus of this conference.
All right. Yeah. I mean, and as Chris and Tony stated, the reality is I met Chris and Tony through the conference. I met Julie through the conference. The people that are in our leadership, the young folks, the seasoned members, all come in, getting to see these speakers and listen to these speakers. Some of you may be speakers, but those experts in our field that we read their articles or we read their books or we hear them on a podcast, whatever it is, and now here they are at the conference, so we get to meet them and chat with them and hang out with them and get to know them. The beauty of emergency management, as we all know, is that emergency managers are the greatest people on the earth because it's so non-territorial, I'll say. So you get to the conference, you get to meet all these people. Next slide, please. So we have events in the days leading up to the conference. We have obviously events during the conference and then events after the conference. So leading up to the conference, the 4 weeks leading up to the conference, every Tuesday and Thursday at noon Eastern time, we have the early edition speaker series. You can go onto the website now and see who those folks are. If you sign up now before the early bird deadline, you get to be part of the early edition speaker series. We have pre and post conference training and symposiums, which are always one of the highlights of the conference. Typically we would have classes from all of our various partners like EMI and CDP and all the rest of the consortium partners coming in and doing classes for us. So we do these pre-conference, we do these classes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some are 1 day, some are 2 days, some are 3 days. We have a couple half-day classes in there. Again, you can go to the website to see what they are. And then we also do classes at the end of the week after the conference comes to a close on Wednesday evening. We have multiple optional outings. This year, one of those optional outings is to Churchill Downs. Another one is to Climavision, which we'll talk about more later. But Climavision is a private radar company that sets up radars to cover some of those gaps. Their headquarters is in Louisville. We're going to go there, and we also have the opportunity to go into the Louisville Metro EOC, which has completely been redone, state of the art. For students and new emergency managers, we have a bunch of events. Again, we'll talk about a little bit later here, but just for you, starting on Sunday, and then kind of threaded out from Sunday to Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday. We have these events to help you all, the newer members of the profession, begin that networking. On Sunday night, we have our welcome party, which will be at the Muhammad Ali Center, about 2 blocks from the conference center. We have the entire museum, and we'll be having our welcome party there. And on Wednesday night, we have our banquet, which will be, where we have the transition of leadership. We have some awards, etc. And then starting on Monday night, we have our MX. Our exhibit hall is going to be the biggest one we've ever had. Why? Because this conference center is one of the biggest ones we've ever been involved with. And we have all the booths filled, and we're still breaking out and expanding that. Then, of course, during the course of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have not only plenary session speakers, but we have spotlight speakers on Tuesday. We have breakout sessions throughout the time. And of course, we have our EM Vision on Tuesday.
All right. First, there was a comment in the chat about registering for the conference and then going back for additional events. And Taylor, we will address that a little bit later. Julia will address that when she talks about registration. So just wanted you to know that we acknowledge that, and we'll get to that. So for the early edition speaker series, there's going to be 8 presentations that are offered every Tuesday and Thursday, as Dwayne had said, and they're at 12 p.m. Eastern. Some of the topics include crisis management, disaster relief, food resilience, public-private partnerships, 20 years after Katrina, and many more, and which also includes a special session on how to nominate and win one of the IAEM's coveted awards. please do register by the October 10th, the early bird registration, and that way you can lock in these virtual sessions. I will tell you, these virtual sessions are as good, if not better than some of the ones at the conference. And what I mean by that is they submit just like they're going to the conference, but they also may not be able to attend the conference in person. So these topics are very, very, very valuable, and I would just encourage everyone to join these and to get your registration in so you can be a part of that. Next slide, please. So there's pre and post conference training that Dwayne had said as well. And so the training is offered pre-conference, which is Friday, November 14th to Sunday, November 16th. And then the post-conference is the Thursday, November 20th and Friday, the 21st. Some of these trainings are, as you can see there, up to an hour, and some of them are a full 3 days. You can check out the website. The link is there to see a complete listing of these pre and post conference programs. And I will encourage you to, if you're thinking about, well, definitely sign up for the conference, but if you're thinking about any of these pre or post conference trainings, do go sign up as soon as possible. They do fill up. I believe we've already got wait lists for some of them. So if there's anything that piques your interest, I would definitely highly encourage you to sign up early because they will fill up. And now I'll pass it over to Dwayne.
All right. So thank you, Chris. As I mentioned earlier, you got to come out and enjoy some of the fun networking events. It's not just, the speakers are great. The breakout sessions are great. The pre and post conference stuff is great, but there's also these other networking opportunities that I started to mention earlier. So you got the tour of Churchill Downs, which is sold out, but you can get on a wait list. And then you see there's multiple times, on Friday and Saturday when you can go to the EOC, Louisville EOC. That EOC is a 2-minute walk from the conference center. Again, Louisville is a very walkable town. There's lots to do and lots downtown. And then that ClimaVision weather data tools for emergency management. Again, ClimaVision is a private partner that is putting radars around the country. In fact, we have one here where I'm located that has helped fill the gap because of some of the areas where National Weather Service just can't possibly have enough radars to cover all the area. So, and then the host committee again is offering the 2 tours on Friday and Saturday of their EOC. This is the place where major decisions are made for things like the Kentucky Derby and when they have PGA Championship and other national known events. And it's an amazing thing to see. We had an opportunity to look at it here the last time we're in Louisville, and so it's worth it. On Sunday night, we have our IPA and IAP, an informal evening of networking with some microbreweries. So this was just recently added, so I don't know if it's up yet. We'll ask Julie here when we get to the end if you're able to register yet. We just recently made plans for where we're going to be going to have that event. Again, it's within walking distance. You can go over, have a couple microbrews, a little bit, some snacks and whatnot. This is after the welcome party on Sunday night. Always a good event. We usually have 50, 60, 70 people. In fact, last year, Chris set it up when we were in Colorado Springs with his local microbrewery. And then because we're in what they refer to as the town of bourbonism, not to be confused with tourism, we decided this year we're going to do a bourbon tasting and distillery tour. That's also a couple blocks away from the conference center. It is also sold out. However, again, get yourself on the wait list. We don't know, there's always people that have to cancel for various reasons. So if you get on the wait list, you can do that. So 2 fun evenings there, Sunday night and Monday night, again, to kind of socialize and network. So on Sunday, you'll be coming, we'll do the welcome party, and then we'll head over to the IEP event. And then on Monday, after our committee meetings and regional meetings, we'll have that. Tony.
All right, so this is the 8th year that we're offering the Embark Career and Professionals Day. Embark is a 4-hour program on Sunday afternoon. It's a great event for students and anyone transitioning into emergency management from another career. Embark provides an introduction to the world of emergency management and includes sessions on networking, career options, and mentors, both mentoring and being a mentee. Next slide. And we're also offering a special slate of presentations from federal agencies on Sunday. So this is your chance to get the latest federal updates and to ask questions from leaders at the Small Business Administration, Department of the Interior, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. There is more detailed information on these sessions in the full program that's online on the conference website. And it's Chris.
Thanks, Tony. One of the really neat parts, I believe, of the conference is the First Step Mixer, and it's a great way to help the students and first-time attendees to start that networking and also get introduced to IAEM members or leadership. I'm sorry. So if you're a student new to emergency management or to IAM and looking for a way to get out there and start the networking, you're invited to this event, and it really is a great way to start to meet people. It'll provide an opportunity to meet IAM leadership. They mingle around the room. They go to the different tables so you can get an idea of who they are, and also at the tables you can ask them about what they do and what their role is, and maybe that would inspire you to look into a leadership role in the future. You'll have as I said, you'll have the opportunity to mingle and network with also seasoned members of the agency, and not only from the agency, from the wide range of emergency management professions. So there's always a game. I believe you see there's Scrabble there. I believe we're doing Scrabble again this year, and so it's just a great way to. Emergency managers are very competitive. I know some of you might be shocked about that, but it is a fun event, and to get to see everyone come together and put on this great event. So I would encourage you, if you're new, to come to the First Step Mixers. It's definitely a great way to get started. And from there, right after that is the welcome party. And so I'll pass it over to Dwayne, who will talk about the welcome party.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, and back to just briefly on the First Steps Mixer, if you can get there on time Sunday, I know a lot of times people just come in Sunday evening. If you can get there on time and you're new to EM, as Chris said, it'll be the first time you get to meet your leadership. Oftentimes, as Chris said, the leadership does play the games. They sit down and they play the Scrabble with us. But when we leave that, again, depending on when you get to Louisville, hopefully you're there in time for the Sunday welcome party. We're very excited that we're going to host the welcome party at the Muhammad Ali Center. Again, it's just a short 2-block walk from the conference center. For those that are here for the First Step Mixer, we'll probably walk over as a group. But we have the entire museum, which you see there, for 2 hours. So a couple years ago, actually more than a couple years ago, when we were in Grand Rapids, we were able to have the museum in Grand Rapids for a couple hours. And you might be thinking, well, how do I network and how do I do anything in this museum? It was so amazing how it worked out in Grand Rapids, that as we travel around now from city to city, we're looking for museums like this, because one, you get to get into the history of the city. Obviously, Muhammad Ali is from Louisville, and two is you have the opportunity to again network with all of our people. Now, I will say this: you do have to have a ticket, as it says there, to be it. So if you registered for the full conference, it's part of your full conference. With that ticket, you get a complimentary drink, and then there's some hors d'oeuvres and all that will be provided. And then, of course, there's also a cash bar. And we hope to see you there. If you're not registered for the full conference, you do have to register special for the welcome party. So as somebody said in the chat, you can go back if you've already registered. You can look to make sure that you have the welcome party, and if not, you just go back in, you register into your dashboard, and then you can add that. And back to Chris.
Perfect. Thank you, Dwayne. So I'm going to go over the Monday lunch. So the Monday lunch is included with your registration, and it is buffet style. So come in, grab a spot, and then we'll all line up and go through the buffet style. I will say that it does fill up very quickly. So as you're getting out of your sessions, move quickly to the lunch, because you will be surprised how fast the tables fill up. And if you want to get a good spot, get there as early as possible. And so that's all we've got for the Monday lunch, and I'll send it back over to Dwayne.
Yeah, and something Tony said earlier, don't sit with the people you came with, right? You'll go back home with those people, or you already know those people. Find some new people, start that networking. Lunch is a great opportunity to do that. So Mondays, we open up Monday with a keynote from GB Jones. GB is the chief safety and security officer for the FIFA World Cup of 2026. As you're all aware, it is in North America, and he's overseeing how how you coordinate between multiple countries, multiple venues, and if any of you have a FIFA site where you're at, and if you're working on the planning, you realize it's very interesting, some of the things that FIFA does, some of the things that maybe we would do, and some other things that maybe we wouldn't do. But it's a learning experience, and GB is going to be our plenary to open up Monday morning. And then on Monday afternoon, we have 3 speakers that you see there: Shayna Goldfine, Jeremy Knighton, and David Schuld. What's interesting about these 3 and what they're bringing to the conference is that these 3 folks all submitted to be part of a breakout session. But when the conference committee review committee looked at these speakers with what they're talking about, again, you see that how Hurricane Helene stress tested Asheville's new EM program with Jeremy, right? Championship collaboration and intergovernment preparedness, the Salt Lake County Continuity Club, David. Regional EMS collaboration leading up to what turned out to be a crazy start to 2025 in New Orleans. I mean, just listening to those titles, you can imagine how inspiring they are and how much we're going to learn from these 3 speakers. So we actually took these folks that thought they were going to be speaking in a breakout session, and they're now going to be our plenary on Monday afternoon. Next slide, please. So on Tuesday morning, we open up with a plenary, and it's going to be the Buffalo Trace Distillery of Tale of Two Floods by Mark Brown and Andrew Duncan. The Buffalo Trace Distillery is like 30-40 minutes away from Louisville, and they got hit pretty hard. And so when we heard about this, we reached out to them and said, you know what? Often we get people to talk about emergency management that are emergency managers. Let's hear what it was like for them dealing with their emergency managers as the private stakeholder, because they recovered quickly due to the great work of their local emergency managers. And so they're going to be speaking first. And then we also have a short presentation on Tuesday afternoon by our emergency manager of the year, Tom Walmsley. Each year we get our emergency manager of the year from the previous year to give us a kind of how they became what they are and what's great about them. And then after that, we have Eric Patterson from the Philadelphia FBI field office. And he's going to be talking on preventing targeted violence, innovative solutions from Pennsylvania. Eric gave a spotlight session last year and filled the room with about 500 people. And after his session, about 400 of those people were standing in line waiting to talk to him. So we realized we had to get him back, and we had to get him on the big stage because of what he has to talk about. Again, preventing targeted violence. And then Wednesday afternoon, we have Katrina to Helene, 20 years of collaboration between meteorology and emergency management. Alan Gerard, formerly with the National Weather Service, is going to be having a fireside chat with our very own President Carrie Speranza. Next slide, please.
And on Tuesday, we've got one of the highlights of our conference, and that's the EM Vision Talks. So these are designed like the TED Talks. So, a series of short, high energy talks. And the speakers that have been selected this year will be sharing personal connections to ideas, experiences, or a passion related to emergency management. And they will be up on the main stage. Each one will be providing approximately a 7-minute talk.
All right, thank you, Tony. So a few short years ago, we started this poster showcase event in which we had 6 or 8, typically students presenting posters at our conference. And over the course of the last 6, 7, 8 years, we realized that many people in our profession, maybe even some of you, have a lot of great research, a lot of great ideas, a lot of great things that you're doing, and it needs to be shared with the profession. So over the course of the years, we've added practitioners to our students, to our academics. We also, in addition to that, we have IAEM caucuses, committees, councils, and regions all have posters, and I'll tell you why that is. So the participants in the poster showcase, they can either be competitive or non-competitive. So the competitive ones, we have an evaluation rubric and we evaluate them. When you're walking around in the conference center, you'll see ribbons on some of the posters. They either got a gold, a silver, or a bronze, just like the Olympics, right? And then in addition to that, you have the caucus committees, councils, and boroughs, or regions, sorry, not boroughs. And what that started out as, we're always trying to figure out how to get more people involved. And oftentimes somebody comes up to us and goes, how do I get involved in the conference committee? Which region I am? How do I work with my region? How do I get on this caucus that's talking about X, Y, or Z, whatever that is, right? And so we had this idea that we would ask all of our various committees, caucuses, et cetera, to do a poster that one explains what they do, and more importantly than that, explains how to get in touch with them, right? So how to, well, in our poster, we have contact information to reach out to us if you decide that, hey, I want to see about joining the poster committee. So one, you'll see what the conference committee does on our poster, and then 2, you'll see how you can contact us through that. So on Tuesday morning during the break, all of the poster showcase competitors will be standing by their posters, and they'll be talking about their research, and they'll be talking about their poster. I can tell you every year for at least 5 years, many of our folks that got into the poster showcase met new collaborators to work with them on their ideas. You walk up and you go, holy smokes, they're working on XYZ, and that's what I'm working on. And so because of that, they formed, again, that network, that bonding, and they maybe took the research a little further. So the poster showcase, as you see, are 10:15 to 11 o'clock in the conference center in the pre-function lobby. Next slide, please. So a few years back, we decided that some sessions are so important. That's not fair. Some sessions have so much information, they're all important. Some sessions have so much information, it's hard to keep it in a 50-minute box of a regular session. So we started on Tuesdays having a 90-minute block called a spotlight. And in that 90-minute block, you see there are the 6 things that will be in that session. So in a normal session, you have 50 minutes, you have 11 different breakouts. But we have certain things that we've given extra time to. Voices in Action, Emergency Management's Role in Federal Advocacy. You can imagine how important that is right now. That'll be led by Mary Jo Flynn, who leads our government affairs and is our newly elected, soon-to-be second vice president of IEM. Earthquakes, volcanoes, landslides, and post-wildfire debris flow, this is from the USGS and their group coming in and talking about various events around the country. different countries, different points of view for emergency management. It's an international presentation from some of our international members. Plain communities disconnected by choice. I was in Kentucky for the state conference a few weeks ago, and they had a session with a local emergency manager who's now with the state and the National Weather Service on a terrible event that happened to them, in which they lost some members of the Plain community a few years back, and the great work they're doing to do a better job of outreach and a better job of communication. Also at the bottom there, you see IAEM Career Workshop. That's basically for students and new emergency managers to help them out with their career path. And then something that we've been doing now, I believe for 3 years, is IAEM Stronger Stories, of which if you have a story to tell, they put up multiple speakers to tell their stories. I know Tony did one in the past. And in the next, well, right after the early bird closes, you'll see an email if you're already registered for the conference to see if you want to offer your stronger story to our attendees. Chris.
Thanks, Dwayne. So Dwayne had mentioned briefly about the career workshop. So on Tuesday, there'll be the career workshop, and it's going to be able to show emergency managers how they can make themselves more competitive in today's job market. And we all know that in some cases, can be a little bit of a challenge at this point. So our speakers this year will focus on topics from interview tips and tricks, gaining experience through volunteer organizations, and so you want to be a consultant with insights to assist you with your career. So whether you're an emerging professional or an experienced practitioner, this is a great event for anyone that's wanting to brush up on their skills. It also will feature a networking opportunity during the career workshop group, I should say, is offering a networking opportunity Monday during lunch, where you'll be able to meet other attendees, share tips and concerns in a small group setting. And so I encourage you to, if this would interest you, to definitely check out the career workshop. And I will now pass it off to Tony.
Thank you, Chris. So I'm really excited about this one. The Emergency Management and Homeland Security Expo, or EMEX, is our showcase of vendors, organizations, agencies, and programs. And networking in this space can not only help you in your profession, but I'll say it's also comfortable enough for an introvert like me to do. This is also the space where our food functions will be held starting on Monday evening. So that includes the opening reception Monday evening, breakfast on Tuesday morning, and lunches on Tuesday and Wednesday. The vendors that participate in the EMAX really do a lot to support our conference, in addition to the work that they do every day. So I just encourage everyone to take some time to stroll through the EMAX, because you really never know if there's something new there waiting for you to discover. That's happened to me a couple times, and it's been great. And if it seems a little bit intimidating, or if you passionately dislike small talk, come find me, and I'd be happy to go through the EMAX with you. And one of the other things that I love at this conference, the Basket Bonanza and the Silent Auction events both support the IAEM Scholarship Fund. And this fund provides scholarships through a competitive process to students who are working towards degrees in emergency management, disaster management, or other closely related fields of study. And the IAEM Basket Bonanza is a raffle of themed baskets, which are on display in the registration area. Each region creates a regional basket, as well as many of the IAEM caucuses and committees. Other baskets have themes, like the one I do every year with unicorns. Items in the silent auction may be previewed online or live at the conference in their designated locations near the registration area. And you can stop by the registration area anytime to review all of the scholarship opportunities that are available and that we support in order to support the future of emergency management. Okay, it's me again. More stuff to do. There's always one more thing. So other opportunities to get involved in the association include the IAEM regional meetings and caucus and committee meetings. And you can find lists of all of the meetings in the full conference program. Caucus and committee meetings are scheduled on Tuesday and Wednesday. So because there's so many of them, so they don't repeat, but there are some on Tuesday, some on Wednesday. None of these are closed meetings, so please feel free to go and check out anything that looks interesting to you.
All right, so I think this is one of the more exciting parts of the conference, and definitely is a great way to end the conference. And so, if you've purchased your full registration at the full rate, that is, the banquet is included, and the banquet is a great way to wrap up the conference. It's a great event that recognizes our outgoing and incoming board. You also get the opportunity to recognize the AEM and CEM holders, the ones that have recently been certified, as well as the IAEM award recipients. The dress code for this event is, well, it's cocktail attire, so a little bit more than business casual, suit and ties or cocktail dresses. And it says 6 to 8:30. The actual banquet is 6:30 to 8:30, but there is a half an hour reception before the doors open that it's a great time to network again. So make sure you're there by 6 and get to get all dressed up with all these other emergency managers and go and have a great evening. It will be held this year in the Convention Center Ballroom A, B, and C. This is where the general sessions rooms are at, and they just transform that room into a totally different look with having it more of a formal sit-down dinner. I did mention that the tickets are included in your full registration costs. You can buy them though also. So if you did not pay for the full registration, those tickets are available or if, for example, if someone else was coming to, like if you had a significant other coming, you can buy tickets to the banquet. So again, great event, great way to end the conference. And with that, I'll send it over to Julie.
So we've covered quite a lot so far on here about what happens from the beginning almost to the end of the conference. On our conference website, there is a way to look and see exactly when everything is happening from the training course starting on Friday to the end of the banquet. So it does it by hourly and chronologically, so you can look on here. And in this page right here, this main page, you can view it by date, by hour, by view by program. You can look up a speaker to see when they're speaking. You can search by, hey, when's that meeting or that caucus meeting, by event type. You can look at that way. Or you can search by interest areas. So if you're interested in healthcare, you can click on there and that will pull up a list of topics, sessions that are on healthcare. When you go to the view program, like I said, it does a chronological order of what happens from start in the morning to the end of the day. On the right-hand side, you see a red See More. You can click on that to find more details about that session, who's presenting in it, get the speaker bio, and so forth. Which I'm showing you here is how I clicked to see more on one of the sessions, and it pulled up the title, the date and time, where it's located, the room, and so forth. We will also be having a conference app as we always do every year. For those that are registered, an email will go out probably about 2 weeks before the conference starts with information on how to access the app. Tony.
Yep, this is me. So ambassadors, the ambassador program consists of attendees, helping attendees have a good experience at the conference. We are very customer focused here at IAEM. And so ambassadors are conference attendees who volunteer to help other attendees find sessions, figure out where the lunch line starts, that type of stuff. They're also available to answer questions and just to, generally help make people feel welcome. So they're positioned strategically around the conference center, and we'll have these highly coveted ambassador buttons on. So if you do have a question, or you need to find something or someone to talk to on the the committee, or at the venue, you can find anyone with an ambassador button, and they'll be able to help you figure out an answer or where you should go.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Julie. So challenge coins, because we're cooler than your average bear, we always do the coolest challenge coins every year. A few years back, we kind of got away from the little round button type ones. You see there, this year's challenge coin is rectangular. You see the front there and the back with Louisville 2025, and they are on sale at the registration area for only $15 while supplies last. They are limited. And this is just one of multiple coins that, if you collect coins, you can get at the conference. Or if you're like a lot of people that love their coins, they also can trade, right? There's a lot of people with coins, myself included, at the conference that you can trade. So next slide, please. So in the fast-paced world, it seems like we never ever get a chance to do, in the words of Gordon Graham, slow down, right? But we're going old school again this year. We have a social media old school wall. So basically, you'll see a large white roll of paper on the wall. It has become very popular at our conference over the last couple of years. You can leave a message about the conference. You can post a job. You can post if you're looking for a job. You can post if you're looking for people to network with. You can post, about plans, excursions. You can leave compliments for speakers and sessions or the conference. You can encourage people, your colleagues, obviously. It's been a couple tough years in emergency management. There is no doubt with the disasters we've had and the disasters we continue to have. But be creative and be positive and be fun. Please don't, just be smart, be creative, be positive. Next slide, please. So we've had the old school wall, right? You get up there, you can draw pictures, you can be creative, you can be fancy, you can be very artful. And then we also have this new school social media type stuff, and it's simple. Basically, you post on your social media, you put hashtag IEM25. You can scan the QR code on signs throughout the convention center to complete a short form. We are on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, we're on X, and basically you can post on there and you have an opportunity to win a $50 Amazon gift card, and we're going to have 3 winners of that. So again, include a picture, short video to draw more attention to your post. What we're trying to do is reach out to all those Chris talked about earlier with the early edition. There's a lot of folks that can't come to the annual conference, so we try to let people know what's happening. at the annual conference. So what else do we need to know, right? There's been questions in the discussion board, the chat about registration. There's some questions about where to stay. There's questions about what should I wear. So let's look at a couple more slides to figure that out. Next slide.
All right, so registration, deadline, early bird, October 10th, which is a week and a day from now, next Friday. So if you haven't registered, think about it. We encourage you to register. If you are affected by the shutdown right now, or maybe your agency is affected by it, um, you can still register by the early bird deadline and lock in your rate, because they do go up after October 10th, and choose the pay by check option. And then afterwards, you can pay when your budget becomes available. If you already registered and you didn't know that some of these great things were going on at the conference, you can log back in. Right here on the screen, it shows you how to do it. It's also on our website underneath the registration pages, how to edit your registration. You can go back in, view your registration, add some of these fun events or some of these training courses, or maybe you didn't have a ticket to the welcome party, now you want to go. That is how you do it. If you are looking to volunteer and you don't have the budget completely to fund the registration fee, we also are looking for conference volunteers who work at the conference and earn $25 an hour towards the registration fee for every hour worked. So that's another opportunity to lower those costs down for those that have a tight budget. Our main hotel is the Gold House. It's a beautiful hotel. It's about 3 blocks from the convention center. There is an interior second story walkway that takes you from this hotel to the convention center. It's a 2-wing hotel. You can see right here in this picture, there's like a center walkway over the street. It's a great little area. You go from one to the other all the time. And in there, they have a coffee place where they sell some food. They have a bar, and they have these big screen TVs, and they have all sorts of different kind of seating arrangements, couches, tall tables, short tables, just to kind of relax. It's a great meeting area. Also in the hotel, they have boutique restaurants and stores. It's just a great hotel. So there's discounted rates that are available. Those expire soon on the 13th. So if you haven't already locked in your hotel room, I suggest you do that here soon.
So a couple quick things about the Galt House. First of all, I did not realize that there is a way to get from the Galt House without going outside. So you guys show me that, Julie, that path. But second of all, Julie and I figured this out about 2 weeks ago. There's the Galt House, which is right, in the picture that you just saw. And then there's another Galt Hotel or something like that, which is actually closer to the convention center. So if you're GPSing it, make sure you get the right one, because there's 2 hotels with kind of similar names about the Galt. But this is the Kentucky International Conference Center. It's a huge place. It's a spectacular place. It's downtown, and it is literally in the center of everything we're doing. Other than if you're going on a tour out to Churchill Downs, everything else, when you're in this downtown area, whether you're staying at the Galt House or any of the other numerous hotels that are around this convention center, everything is easy walking distance. Again, we've been there a couple times, and everything, the furthest we probably walked at any one time was 5 or 6 blocks, just because we wanted to. There's lots of restaurants near here. There's again, lots of hotels, lots of entertainment. The Muhammad Ali Center is 2 blocks. The EOC is about a block away from there, so there's lots to do, and it's all close. It's all downtown. It was renovated just a few short years ago. It is a spectacular conference center. Next slide, please. So what do we wear? Chris mentioned earlier about a little bit more formal attire at the banquet. Yes, if you have it, but don't worry if you don't. I mean, I have students every year that come, and some of my students don't have a suit. It's okay. You can still come if you got a ticket. But during the main part of the week, you're just going to be in business casual, polo shirts, slacks, nothing fancy. Be comfortable. It's a big conference center. You might also be walking around downtown, so make sure you got comfortable shoes to wear. And on Wednesday, we have logo day. So basically on Wednesday, represent who you work for, where you work, an organization, whatever that may be. Wednesdays, I always have my Millersville swag on from here at school. So again, pretty low key for the most part. We don't get too crazy. People dress up, especially like the award winners and stuff, dress up on Wednesday night. But again, don't fret about being too fancy in your wear. So Chris, talk us about things to do.
Thanks, Dwayne. So yeah, as Dwayne said, there is a lot to do. He mentioned we've been there a couple times getting ready for this conference. And as he's also mentioned, almost all of it's walkable. You can get some tours that are a little bit, might take some sort of transportation, but it really is a walkable city and you can get to just about anywhere. So when you're on the website, under the hotel and travel pages, you're going to find a whole list of the local dining, tours and excursions, entertainment, the arts and culture, shopping, just anything that you would want. I would definitely encourage you to look at it, check it out, and get a plan set up and make the most of your time while you're there in Louisville. So, next slide, please. So, one of the big parts about the conference is we strive as a conference committee to try to make the conference better every year. And the only way we can do that is from feedback. So we need to hear from you, and there'll be QR codes on the large posters. They're throughout the convention center. They'll be outside your sessions. They will be on the slides inside. So for you to, you'll have an opportunity to go for the conference and then also for each of the sessions. So those who complete their speaker evaluations and the conference evaluation, so there's two different evaluations there. They will be entered into a random drawing for three 1-year IAM memberships or a complimentary full registration to next year's conference, which will be in Long Beach. And new this year, we'll feature our daily evaluations through an interactive site during the Monday through Wednesday morning plenaries. So, as we've mentioned, if you can help us out, this is the best way to do it. It really does we take the feedback seriously. We actually do read all of the feedback that comes in, and we really use it to make it better. A lot of things that have happened through this conference have happened because of the feedback that has been given through attendees. So we take it seriously, and we definitely hope that you can just take a few minutes and give us an evaluation so that we can make it an even better conference in Long Beach in 2026. With that, I'll pass it back to Dwayne.
All right, you're gonna find all this information about the conference on our website. You get on the website and you look up conference. You see, if this year you're coming, hopefully as attendee, next year maybe you put in to be a speaker. We'll be doing a call in January. The conference programs in there, networking opportunities, why should you attend, all this stuff that we're talking about. I also see that there's some questions I'm trying to answer. So for the folks from California and the folks from Florida, it should be warmer than last year in Colorado Springs. But it's the Midwest and it's November. Should be less than, I don't know, 8 or 10 feet of snow on the ground. No, just kidding. We've been there at all times of the year. Certainly it's not going to be Florida weather. It's not going to be Southern California weather, but it's not going to be San Francisco in the summertime where it's cold. So that's the answer to that question. Julie, can you answer the question about somebody booked at the Galt House and they did not know there was an IEM block? Would they just call the Galt House to try and redo that reservation?
Yes, just call them, tell them you're part of the IAM block, and they should be able to flip that over and give you the lower rate.
And if I remember correctly, there is not a shuttle from there's a shuttle, you got to pay for it. I think that's how it is for the Galt House, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And other places downtown. When I traveled there last time, I Ubered. I will tell you that coming from Pennsylvania, I'm actually driving there this year. It's a kind of easy place to get to. Tony and Chris, when you guys flew in, I assume you Ubered.
Correct. Yeah, it was very easy.
Um, so Gold House this week told they only have 2, 3 rooms left. Julie, you want to give your annual advice for what happens if they tell you it's booked?
It should not be booked. We just looked at it, so I mean, I would, what you want to do is, on our conference website, underneath there's actually a reservation link right there. The best way to do it is to go through that and register in the link there. Because sometimes, as you know, with any place you deal with, any place you go to, you get somebody at a desk or a customer service area that may not know exactly all the details about what's going on with our event. So the best way to do it is to go to the link that's on our conference website and click in that link and make your reservation directly there.
And is the cost of the banquet covered in the student early bird registration?
Yes, if you are for student, rates are discounted if you're an IAEM member. And yes, both the welcome party and the banquet are included in that rate.
And somebody earlier talked about a resume, and I don't think any of us talked about this. Forgive me if we did, but I'll repeat myself if one of us did. But many people come to IAM and walk away, finding a new position, right? So having that resume, whether you want it reviewed by our people in the career workshop, or maybe you're looking for a new position, or maybe you're looking for a first position. I can tell you, I know multiple people through the years that have come to the conference and started networking with somebody, talking with somebody. Before you knew it, they found out that maybe that person had a job opening at their shop, or maybe they knew about somebody else. So bringing resumes, bringing business cards, sharing information. It's again, this is, there'll be close to 3,000 people from around the world there, all whom, for the most part, are working in emergency management or related or allied profession. So if you're looking for a position, bring that resume and come ready to find a job. Did anybody know if I got all the questions?
There's a question in here, Dwayne, about can they pay for the bourbon tasting separately? And I guess that would apply for anything if you because their employer won't pay for it if you wanted to go to the IAP event or you want to go to the welcome party and your employer won't pay for those optional outings. You can go in and pay for the conference and then do that separately, pay by check for just the added on event. If you have any difficulties with it, you can reach out to our registrar, Sharon Kelly, at info@IAM.com, and she will respond and help you through that process.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the questions we get asked most often. We just had that. I was talking to somebody here in the last 2 weeks, and it's like, hey, I want to do this, but my employer will only pay for the conference. They won't pay for that. So there are ways, and Sharon's great to work with. Trust me. I've had lots of folks that have dealt with Sharon through the years, and she does a great job of making sure she makes it work for you. Did I miss any other questions?
I'm still looking through.
So I see, yeah, it looks like Tony already answered that. Yeah, some conferences you pre-register for sessions, and they do that from the standpoint that, if they know how many people are registered, then they can figure out what size room to put them in. We don't do that because we think that it's very important that people kind of have the freedom to move around. So, I've already walked into a session and caught the first 30 minutes of one session and then jump to another session to catch, another 30 minutes over there. Or sometimes you walk in and you're sitting there and you realize, you know what, maybe this isn't exactly how I read it in the abstract. So I'm going to jump to something else. So we don't do that. I've been at conferences recently where I went to sign up for a session. They told me it's full. I couldn't get in. We don't want to be that way. So you can just pop in and out. Somebody had an AEM CEM question. I think Tony, you already answered that, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I also see I'm sorry, Dwayne. I
Nope,
see a
go ahead.
question about parking garages. So as everybody's kind of mentioned, the city is very walkable. If you were staying at the Gull House, you do not need a car to get from the Gull House to the convention center. It's about a 3 block walk, whether you go inside or outside. And if you are driving in, there is a garage. If you at the convention center, if you go on our website, underneath hotel and travel, there is a parking page there about where you can park. So then also is a garage, obviously, at the Golf House Hotel, just like there is at any hotel. Another question about being on a wait list. If you're on a wait list for the bourbon tour or something you paid for in addition and you don't get in, yes, we will refund your money if you do not get on that tour.
I saw a couple more here, Julie, that are in your lane of travel. Do you know what the rate for the IEM block is?
I believe it's 184 for the IM block. 184 and like maybe 194. I'd have to look at it. I know the bottom one is 184. Depends what room you get. If you want a little nicer room, it's gonna cost a little bit more.
And I will say this, and I have students coming, and they're going to stay at a hotel probably a block and a half away, and it's again, it's mainstream hotels, and they do have, you'll get it at a lesser rate. You'll have to walk 2 blocks, but it's at a lesser rate. There are a lot of hotels downtown. There's a lot of parking downtown. As I mentioned, I'm driving in. The so we have Angel has a wheelchair. They didn't have any ADA rooms listed. Um, do you know like how that works, Julie? Please.
What I would do is book your room and then call the hotel directly that you just made a reservation and that you need a room that's accessible, and they should be able to accommodate that.
All right. And for all of those of you that this is going to be your first conference, please come seek me out, seek Tony out, seek see Chris out, see Julie out. If you come up to me and you say the following phrase, Julie is the happiest conference director of all time, we will give you a special prize. But you have to find me and you have to say that phrase, and it has to be your first conference and the first of many to come. Other questions? I I think we answered them all. All right. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we are looking forward to seeing you all in what, like 6 weeks, right? Something like that, if I'm counting correctly. All right, Chris, Tony, Julie, final comments.
I am so super excited for this conference. It's my favorite. I love it. I'm an introvert, and I still love seeing people at this event, and I can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah, ditto to that. Looking forward to it and super excited to see all the first timers that are going to be there.
And Julie, bring us home.
Yes, we are very excited for this event, as we all are. We are a little biased, but we think it's the best conference known to mankind. So if you have any further questions you think about after this event, there's our contact information. I will also send the recording out to all those that are registered. Plus, it'll be on our conference website. You won't be able to miss this. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in Louisville.